Hello and welcome to Dice Masters United. I'm Spug.
I'm Ben.
I'm James.
And I'm Peter.
Coming up in this episode,
Dice Masters 2.0 is here. Well, sort of.
We'll be examining all the latest news from the upcoming overhaul of the cards and digging into the details.
And our intrepid correspondent will be bringing us the headlines from the UK Games Expo and spilling all on the Dice Masters event that took place there.
All that and more in the latest episode of Dice Masters United.
yes, well, welcome back, everybody. And since we've been away, there's been a lot of stuff going on in the Dice Masters world. I mean, WizKids have been talking about Dice Masters coming out of hibernation, and by heck, it is in terms of news. Jimmy O'Brien, the WizKids product manager who looks after all things Dice Masters and tends to be the kind of the face of WizKids in the Dice Masters community, he has been doing the rounds and appearing on a couple of other podcasts. He's been on the Ministry of Dice and Double and Dice, can't say that without putting my teeth in. And he's been spilling quite a bit on the upcoming changes to the game, and there's been a lot of dramatic stuff for us to wade through, not least the fact that when the Secret Wars set hits, which is currently scheduled for October. Now, bear in mind that Superman Kryptonite Crisis is currently scheduled for June. We are now in June. I'm not sure if people are necessarily expecting to get Kryptonite Crisis in their hands at the moment, particularly given that over here in Europe, it's the usual sob story that we haven't had Dark Phoenix, but it's currently slated that for October there will be the Secret Wars expansion will be coming out, and the big dramatic news is that the cards have had a huge overhaul and they've totally redesigned the Dice Masters cards after 8 years since 2014. The cards have basically been the same format, with the exception of a few tweaks, full art, that kind of stuff, but they have decided to go back to the drawing board and come up with a completely new design, which, well, I mean, obviously we can describe it, but that's not going to be a great idea here on a podcast because we never talk about art on this podcast, do we, guys? But you can check it out if you go to... Can we put a link, James? Can we put a link to
our spoilers page? Indeed we can.
Yes, that would be the good thing to do, so people can have a look at the new cards if they haven't seen them already. But should we go over some of the headlines and say what they've done? So everything's been moved around. It's all different. The cards are just... I mean, I think it's really cool what they've done. They've got so much more kind of a modern look and feel to them now. They've totally changed the presentation and the color scheme. They've made it much more kind of exciting, much more modern. Guys, what do you make of it? Peter, how do you view the kind of the card overhaul?
I do like that they are color coding the energy types now. That makes it much easier to see what you have, especially in draft. I think they made a lot of the changes to make draft better, so you can fan out your cards and see all the costs and all the energy types easily. So that's a good thing. I still have to get used to the look. I'm sure it will grow on me. Some of the things could be a bit clearer, but those are not the main details, I suppose. But like the max dice are a bit hard to read. The rarity is harder to spot.
Yes. What do you make? What do you make of the colours that they've chosen for the different?
Oh boy,
energy types. Go on, Ben. Why are you saying that?
Don't know. Just controversial, isn't it? No, it's not. I suppose it doesn't really matter. Some things make sense to me, some things don't really.
Go on.
I don't know. Yeah, they're okay. The red for Bolt is sort of okay. The ready yellow.
Yeah.
kind of passes. They're very similar to Magic the Gathering colours, aren't they? The kind of vibe of them.
Yes, that's true. Yes, they have. Yeah, that's a good point.
Especially
so you've got
with the fists.
fists
Green
are green.
and fist doesn't make sense to me. Apart from when you compare it to Magic the Gathering.
Or the Hulk.
Yes.
Yeah. No.
Yes. Yes, that's a good point, actually, Ben, because when I looked at... So basically the colours are a kind of an orangey red for bolts, a light blue for shields, a green for fists, and then a kind of purple for masks. It seems as if there are going to be other colours for crossover dice, but I'm not quite sure how that's going to work because the number of combinations just get a bit silly then, don't they? So there aren't any crossover dice in this Secret Wars set, apparently, so we won't get to see that for a while. But yeah, when I first saw it, I thought, oh, the fists, I feel like that should be red. But now that you come to mention the magic thing, that's quite an interesting...
Yeah, you have the bolts, which are kind of very red magic.
Yeah.
The fists, which are very green, like Trample, the classic.
Yeah.
Trample / Overcrush, very fisty thing.
Yeah.
But then I would, if we're going to go with that, then fine. Then I have issues with the purple for masks, because surely the mask should be like blue, right? Because it's more control-y.
Oh, I see. In terms of magic.
In terms of magic. I think the red and green are fine, I kind of get. Even the blue for shields, I sort of get aside from the magic. The purple for masks, I don't really care for.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any difference whatsoever to anyone's life.
I don't know. The purple is a fairly mysterious color in my experience, so it works for me.
Yeah. I mean,
And blue is sort of life gain in Star Realms, if that helps at all.
Oh, right. Okay. Star Realms.
Bring in another game. Sure.
What about in Wingspan, James? Are there any colours that relate to Wingspan here?
No, there's no brown and there's no pink, so not really. No
I'm surprised they haven't gone red, green, blue, yellow. That would be the classic 4 colours.
Yes. Or maybe they just wanted to try to buck that trend a bit and not kind of go down the classic routes.
As long as they're consistent with it, it doesn't really matter, does it?
Let's move on from colour.
I do like the fact
they've gone for the turtles' colours.
Oh, yes. Right.
Do they match up with the turtles?
So does that mean turtles are definitely coming back to Dice Masters?
But then
surely.
Raphael's...
No, that's red and orange and blue and purple.
Yeah.
But green is also turtles, so they sort of combined Raphael and Michelangelo for the bolts.
So it's Dice Masters Turtles Return confirmed. You heard it here first.
I do like the dice on the side. I think that's the smartest thing they've done, getting rid of the energy types.
Yeah, so talk about what they've done there, Ben.
So they put the symbols, the dice, which used to go along the bottom.
Yeah.
All 6 faces. They put the 3 just character faces on the side and assumed that you know what the energy sides look like. Because that is effectively redundant information.
It is.
Although
except for crossover.
Redundant. Yeah, on crossover. So
yeah.
Maybe that's an end to crossover dice.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. It doesn't fit the new design. We'll skip those.
Maybe not, yeah. Also, the thing about the colours is obviously that they've now... obviously all the font and all the text and everything has been completely changed and updated. They've also changed the logo for the global energy requirements. So if there's a global that requires a mask, it's in a little purple background because that's the mask colour.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's nice.
Which makes it
that's a nice touch.
A little clearer and nice little touch. But yeah, I think it's quite good that they haven't bothered with the sort of redundant information like the extra, showing that on a 6-sided shield die you've got 3 character sides and then 2 double shields and a single shield. Also, I guess it reduces the possibility that he might accidentally put the wrong one on the picture or the die, as has happened before with a few notable exceptions, but let's not go there. So they've James, overall, what do you make of the redesign? I haven't asked you.
I kind of like the things you mentioned. I really don't like the basic actions at all. I think they look
very modern.
they look sort of faux modern. It looks like brushed steel, imitation brushed steel, because the background is grey as opposed to one of the colours you mentioned. Plus, the text box is huge, which leaves, and this is a complaint which I think is shared by all of them, except the ones which will be full art, which I suppose we'll come to later. The art is not left to shine. I think despite the economy of not showing through the dice faces, it feels like there's less space for the art. It feels crowded, and the art is the best bit for me. So that's a bit disappointing. I do like the dice down the side. It's nice.
They are definitely doing bigger characters, though. The actual character images are more zoomed in.
Right, yes. It's like an optical illusion, maybe.
I'm focused on that. Yeah, we have seen them in person.
Yeah, sure, that's true. But I really don't like the basic actions. You can see those pretty. Although the one which I'm looking at the one with the multiple images. There's two which have white backgrounds to the text, which I don't like, and then there's one with a black background which looks a lot nicer actually.
Well, then also the Daily Bugle alongside that also looks like it has the black background. Possibly as well. So we'll have to. Again, we'll have to see. It's hard to tell in person.
Indeed.
Yeah. What I think what they're also doing, which is really nice, and you can see this on one of the cards that have been revealed from the new set, the Colossus. That's just what you'd call a vanilla card with no text whatsoever. They've just dispensed with the text box entirely on the card, so it's pretty much a full art design for the textless dice, which I think it looks really good.
You've seen that with the Harley Quinn, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but obviously, I guess that's become the standard for vanilla.
I like that
textless thing, which I think is pretty cool. I feel like they've done a couple of things, like they've made the cost a bit bigger, I think, haven't they? And they've moved it to the top right rather than the top left, but I think that's maybe a bit clearer now. The max die, now you mentioned this, Peter, it feels like the max die is a bit small. That can sort of get a bit lost in the bottom right-hand corner, it feels to me.
Yeah. But it should be all right. It's
something you check before a game rather than something you check during the game, so I think that's fine.
Yeah.
Really, ultimately.
Fair enough. Just check it in the team builder.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And then they've moved the instead of now a stripe denoting the rarity, they've got a kind of a blob in the bottom left-hand corner, which shows the color of the rarity, which seems to be broadly the same: red for super rare, yellow for rare, green for uncommon, and grey for common. But they've also put a letter denoting what it is, which is, I guess, helpful if you're colorblind or whatever. So that's a bit different, but it's not quite so. It doesn't feel quite so obvious. I mean, that might be because we're not used to looking at that spot, maybe, and now we will look there a bit more often. But
doesn't matter too much.
No, but there is one big change though in this particular set, and I think there's only one example of it in the Secret Wars set. Is that there is one card that has 4 character sides. Franklin's Galactus, which is a 7-cost character, has a 033 side, a 255 side, a 258 side, and wait for it, a 31010. That is going to get that surely will get the blood pumping. What do we think, Ben, about a 4-sided character die?
It's a little bit like they went kind of full in. They've done a few testing the water bits with stuff like the She-Hulk, which energizes to a character face.
Oh yeah.
So I think they've kind of used the last couple of sets, especially Energize, to mess with the possibility of a more regular character face. Very interesting. Makes stuff like I think Jimmy's comments on spinning up and down levels becomes a lot more palatable with a 4-character face thing. I think that's a good point. If you can use it to spin down 3 times and to spin something else up 3 times without kind of having to do the spin back up thing.
Yeah.
Is very useful. What counts as level 3 is an interesting question. Stuff that affects level 3 character dice.
I'm guessing the 258 will be the.
I'm guessing so as well.
Yeah.
So basically, it's very interesting, very fun. We've kind of wanted for a while, I think, them to do more interesting stuff with the dice. Mess around with energy types, character faces. So yeah, so it's a good sign that they are thinking about that.
Yeah, for sure. And Peter, we've got a 3-10-10. You're our stats man. This surely is the biggest single character in the history of the game.
Well, I mean, there's Godcatcher, which is also a 10-10.
True. Yeah, there is.
But
that's why I came to.
That's probably the highest.
This must break the home match scale, though, for some statistical reason that I don't know about.
Yeah. I don't know how you're supposed to do that with this one.
No.
The thing is, though, you're never going to.
But you can still take the average. You always take the average, so it should still work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're always going to roll it on that 255 face, aren't you?
Which would really suck, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, oh, this is garbage.
But
Yeah.
I mean, the 033 is not great either for a 7 cost.
Not really. But there are 2 different images of this particular card, so you can actually piece together, although it's hiding behind another one in the promotional images that they've sent out, that you can actually put together what the text says. And he is a 7 cost shield, but it says that he costs 1 less for each die in your prep area. So if you were to use the Dark Phoenix Global that enables you to pay a bolt, knock out one of your characters, and then the next character die you purchase costs 2 less. If you do that twice before purchasing Franklin's Galactus, then you can actually buy him for 1.
Yeah, that's very good.
It's not too bad, is it?
Not too shabby.
No. If you can get a 10-10 for the princely sum of 1, I think.
And it's a shield,
and
so
3
you
fielding.
You could use that. You could use that bishop thing. The bishop silver.
You could, you could prep
that.
him.
Yeah. Bishop Silgar thing.
Yeah,
that's not bad.
Yeah.
Prep
The Fishop.
The Fishop.
The Fishop. Yeah, that could be very, very cool. Where you use the Bishop that allows you to prep whatever you buy if you only use that energy to buy it. Yeah, that could be very cool. And you could do it twice if you got it on the double energy side, and you could have Dark Phoenix another 2 times.
You'd have to pay 4
You only need 4 bolts and 4 characters, but yes.
Lose all your field presence.
Yeah, but you've got 2 Galactuses coming that you won't be able to pay to field, of course, because you'll probably roll them both on
no, because you get out a bunch of characters, so you'll have
that's
a lot
true,
of energy.
Yeah. But no, I think that's. I'm excited about what that's gonna bring. And there's another thing that's coming to the game, and a new development in terms of basic actions. We're now going to have epic actions, which appear to be replacing the basic actions. Does someone want to give us the lowdown on what the epic basic actions are and how they're going to work?
With great complexity.
Yes, with great power
that sums
comes
it up.
great complexity. Yeah, that's very good.
There's sort of 2 main stipulations for how you can use them.
Yeah.
So the 2 main stipulations are you can only buy or use one once per turn.
Yes.
That's the first part. And then the second part is you can only buy it if you have a 4 cost or higher character in the field.
Yeah.
So those are the 2 main stipulations. Then the third kind of add-on thing is that once you've used the die, presumably it's going to be a die.
Yeah.
You then churn through.
Yeah.
And presumably it's going to replace a regular basic action.
Yes.
Those are the bits we're unsure of, right?
I mean, that's my understanding, just because of the way that they formatted them. Because if you look, you can see snippets of epic basic actions in the pictures of basic action cards.
So then after you've used it, it's going to go to the used pile. Sorry, not use pile. Go back to its card. Yes.
Goes back to the card. Yeah. And Jimmy he gave a couple of examples of what
the types of ability
gonna do, and they are pretty epic. Ben, what do they have?
So the first one, which is the least interesting one, probably, is that you re-roll all character dice.
Yes.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Not against Master Mode.
But you get to do it. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You can also do it.
Yeah, but if you play Master Mode,
yeah, that's true as well. Anyway, the second more interesting one, in my opinion, is that you can do something like pay X life to draw and roll X dice.
Oh, yes.
Which theoretically you could pay up to 19
to
roll 19 dice. Like Jimmy said,
are you ever going to have 19 dice to draw?
You better not miss that roll, right? But
yeah.
There's definitely some kind of shenanigan-y, especially I'm thinking of the advent of the basic action where you draw die and then whatever that costs, you get to do the damage.
The Eldritch Blast.
Eldritch Blast, thank you. Those cards coming back in.
Yeah.
You have to cycle your dice that way, then buying something with all that energy.
Yeah.
Something with that team, I think, is definitely there.
Yeah, definitely.
This is a way to clear out your entire bag, and use pile is very, very strong.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And obviously, if you can pay up to, if you've got 19 dice in your bag, then
yes,
it's probably fair to say.
Yeah, but more likely you're going to be doing it on. It depends how much this dice costs, I suppose.
Yeah,
but being able to do something on like turn 4, where you get to roll a boatload of dice.
Yeah, that could be pretty good, because actually it wouldn't be. It's not beyond. It's certainly far from. It's not that hard to get a full cost in the field by turn 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. With the Becky Lynch Global and a few discounts here and there, that wouldn't be that difficult. So as long as your rolls go well, then yeah, you could be buying one of these things pretty quickly. And yeah, obviously we don't know at this point how much they're going to cost or anything like that. So it could be like 7.
No, but I'm thinking a turn 4 with this, using it on turn 4 to do something that wins you the game is very possible.
That is, yeah. So those are going to be pretty cool.
I'm just looking at the some of the images that were released, and you can sort of see, the basic action which has distraction at the front, and there's two epic basic actions there. One of them obviously is the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yes.
With no text on the right, so it's obviously very short text. So that maybe just says win. No, probably not. Before, but,
win the forecast? Nah.
That's a forecast, so probably not. And then the other one, you can make out the letters RAK. Is it maybe Sitarak, do you reckon? That thing that gives... was there a
Madam
dual...
Web. Is it Madam Web?
No, it's...
it's Juggernaut.
Juggernaut,
yes.
Juggernaut. It's got big hands in there, so maybe it's that. And then it says number of field zone equal to the controlled by the player, and moves the rest to something. Same for dice in prep. So, so now we know.
Illuminating.
It sounds like you're cutting out, James. Maybe.
Why hadn't I figured it out before?
Reroll a number of dice in your opponent's field zone equal to the number. I'm just making this up. Equal to the number of gibbons controlled by the player. And,
there is. There is Monsieur Mala coming. So if you want, well,
the number of simians controlled.
Yeah. Well, yes, you're right. There are at least 2 basic actions that show the cost as being 4. So
epic, indeed, yes.
Epic basic actions, sorry, yeah, that shows 4. So they aren't beyond the realms of possibility. Although there is one, of course, that is 6, but we can't see whether that's epic or not. I don't really know. But anyway, but epic basic actions look like they are going to change the game again. Another thing that's coming in terms of new product that is obviously going to change the kind of purchasing situation, particularly for new players, is going to be the Origin packs. Peter, do you want to talk a little bit about what the Origin packs are going to be, what they're going to consist of, and so on?
Yeah, so the Origin packs are going to be the new entry products, sort of, for new players. They will contain 2 characters, one card for each. I think 3 dice for each.
Mm-hmm.
And they will also have basic action cards, 2 basic action cards, 6 basic action dice, and also they will have colored sidekicks, which is the most interesting part for a lot of people, I think.
Yes.
So that's pretty cool. And the character cards will have alternate art, but they will be cards that will also be available in just draft packs, but they will have different art from those. So it's something that you can skip if you already have basic action dice and such, and you don't care for colored dice much and alternate art. But it's they're going to be fairly cheap, I think. And I know I like fancy colored dice, so I'll be buying them.
Yeah. Yeah, very good.
Me too.
No.
James will not be.
It also says, if you read the small print, everything one player needs to get started. I'm not sure that's technically accurate, is it? If you want to play a two card team, that's all you need to get started.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, I think the demo version of the game, if you look at the basic rules, I think it does suggest you play a sort of basic game with just a couple of characters, doesn't it? So you can get the sense of how the game works.
Not with 2 cards.
True.
I think, no.
Isn't it? I thought it was 2.
Yeah, I thought it was.
It's 4.
4?
Oh, maybe there's an even simpler version. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it is. But I mean, I think the thing is you can buy this and it gives you all the stuff that you haven't been able to get for some time. I mean, when was the last time you were able to get this? I suppose it was in the collector's boxes, wasn't it? So the most recent collector's box was WWE, wasn't it? I believe. So
you mean campaign box?
Campaign box, sorry. Yeah, they were collector's boxes in the old days. Yeah. The campaign box, the WWE campaign box, would have been the last time that you could get all the sort of basic action dice and the sidekicks and that kind of stuff. This apparently is also going to contain a mini playmat, which I suspect will probably just be a little bit of paper with the various areas on. Will it dare to suggest a used pile and an out of play? One on the top, one on the bottom. I'm not sure if even WizKids would dare go there, given the...
Yeah, they're not touching that.
No.
It'd be nice if they had 2 zones for it, even if they don't name them.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, if they really chicken out, they could just have, or maybe an arrow that just says they're interchangeable, depending on your preference. And apparently there's going to be some quick start rules in the box and a QR code to full rules online, which I suspect is probably something they're going to need to work on, because I don't think that actually exists, James, does it, at the moment?
I've been complaining about this since WWE came out. When they chopped the rule book, they cut a bunch of interesting stuff out of the rule book, and then just left a little link, like a web address. And if you actually, I'm sure not that many people other than me did, but if you actually followed that up, it redirects to the oldest rule page with videos from, what's his name? That nice bloke from Canada. What's his name? Watch It Played him.
Rodney.
Rodney, that's it. I mean, lovely videos, but they're using AVX stuff. The oldest page in the in the Dice Masters library, and it doesn't cover any of the stuff which was omitted from the rule book, which means, firstly, that you have to go back to X-Men Forever to get the last up-to-date rule book, because WWE is not complete. And secondly, that's what spurred me to create the two that I've done so far, the sort of details videos, which gather together all the missing stuff plus handy rulings and whatnot. And I'll put a link in the description. But let's hope And I told them about this years ago, and they've done nothing. So it's about time they pull the fingers out and sorted it out, or just link to my videos. If that's what you want to do. They won't. But
I mean, I like what they're trying to do here, because it does. I mean, they're saying, I think, that the price point is going to be $6.99. I think in the US. I think that's what I've seen, which is great, because obviously that sounds pretty affordable. It'd be easy for someone to pick up a couple of those sets and have a little game and see if they like it, and then maybe buy a draft box or two for a similar kind of price, and then suddenly they've got lots more characters and dice, and they can start getting into it. I hope that this will encourage and make it much easier for people to find a pathway into Dice Masters, which has obviously been quite difficult for a little while because they haven't had that. Ben, what do you think?
Well, I think again the focus on draft is there, right? If the idea is that if someone new comes to the store, you can say, "I'll just buy this little box and then join us for our draft today," rather than buy the starter set, which gives you a whole bunch of stuff, and then join the draft.
Yeah,
you're cutting down that entry cost, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah, no, I think that's good. And obviously, one thing that
I think it's above and beyond that they then also put in fancy. They didn't have to fancy new art cards, and we haven't seen them yet. But the fact they didn't put alternate art cards into the little boxes as well is a nice touch for people who are collectors anyway.
Yeah, but it sounds like they're not going to include the motion sickness bags that previously featured in the old starter sets when they used to be.
Some people swear by those bags.
Don't go on a long coach journey without one. That's all I say.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't really last very long, do they? So I think they're
actually fairly durable.
Yeah, I think
Patrick Shadowmeld has been using his for 400 years, apparently.
Really?
Yeah.
I played him recently. I'm sure he didn't use it, so I think it must have given up the ghost. Surely that's the only explanation. Either that,
so
or
what are they suggesting?
Either that, or he never used his dice bag. I'm not quite sure.
Well, they're suggesting that this is all you need to get started. So what they're implying by that is that you can use your pockets as your dice bag.
Yes.
Any pocket will do.
Any pocket, it doesn't have to be yours. Could be, passing strangers.
Yeah.
Although,
if you're good enough, you never need your bag.
Yeah, that's
just churn.
Which is why they don't include a bag in the starter pack, because
get good.
Yeah.
Immediately,
you know what you're doing. Yeah, exactly. Now, and Peter, you mentioned the fact that there's going to be different sidekick coloured dice. There's it looks like they're going for blue and pink. Is it? I think
no, yellow and pink.
Yellow and pink, right, for the dice. So that's the origin packs, which are going to be giving players a new way into the game. One thing we touched on, but we haven't talked about, is the fact that there is going to be Fantastic Four in the Secret Wars set. Jimmy has confirmed that, and obviously we can see it because we've got Franklin's Galactus, who I assume is Franklin Richards, the
Franklin
son.
D. Roosevelt, maybe.
Not Franklin D. Roosevelt. I don't think he had a Galactus. I'm not sure. It could have been quite handy during the Second World War, but I don't think he had one of those. Whereas Franklin Richards, I think, might have had one in one of the comics. So, he's obviously the son of Reed and Sue, and apparently he's very powerful, and so is his Galactus, it turns out. But so we've seen that. It looks like Fantastic Four are going to be in it. Ben, does this mean that the Fantastic Four solo play sort of set has been ditched, do you think?
Yes.
Good. Thank you for that.
No, I don't think they had something. They had something with the solo play. They had an idea, and I don't think it's panned out as well as they want, to be honest.
Yeah.
And if it's not good, then they shouldn't release it just for the sake of releasing. That's my opinion.
Fair.
As long as they're kind of using the best cards in other stuff, then I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Peter?
Yeah, I mean, if it's not going to be good, then don't do it. So, makes sense that. I mean, it would have been nice to have like a campaign box for the Fantastic Four, but I think moving away from campaign boxes for the time being. So it makes sense that they skip that and then just sort of blend it in with the Secret Wars stuff.
Yeah,
If that is the case,
indeed.
if that is the case, it would be nice. Like, you know, they've got a bit of a reputation for just letting things disappear. Not speaking of.
Yes.
Never once, never again was it spoken.
It'd be nice to know they could maybe put out the solo play rules that they had online and then let people tinker with it, maybe.
Like a variant.
Yeah.
I mean, there is one, isn't there? Someone's come up with one, haven't they? Do they call it it's one of that big sea monster, isn't it? The Kraken. The Kraken, yeah. Someone's come up with that, and apologies, I can't remember who you are, so do forgive me.
I've never heard of that. Okay.
But there is...
it's on the Discord somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure we can find it and link to it. But yes, I will endeavour to do that once we are done here. But there is a variant that someone has come up with that I haven't tried, but I understand that it is good fun if you want to play on your own. So yes, it does look like the Fantastic Four set has been folded into Secret Wars, maybe. I mean, it's just disappeared from the solicits, so we don't really know. But we will see. But Jimmy also mentioned there's going to be a new Fantastic Four WinCon coming in Secret Wars. He wouldn't give any more details, but looks like there's going to be something involving that particular family. James, does the prospect of another WinCon get your juices flowing?
Not really, but I feel like this has been mentioned, or at least a alternative WinCon featuring the Fantastic Four was mentioned previously.
Oh yeah, was it?
Not in a previous interview with Jimmy. Whether it's the same one, I don't know. And it was something to do, maybe I can't remember the ddetails, but having all of the members of the team fielded simultaneously or something, and then when at the start of your turn or something like that, which might make sense if one of them's a 6 cost and stuff.
Ben Grimm definitely should be a 6 cost.
Yeah.
You're not so excited about that, Ben. Are you?
No, not really.
I think
excited
Ben
about alternative win conditions. I think are cool. I like having them in the game.
They're just curiosities, though. I think as much.
But then Hellfire Gala could be a thing, right? It depends. It'd be interesting to see people try and win that way. It just gives some other things to tinker with, right?
Yeah.
Especially when you're doing tribal stuff with like the Fantastic Four, you want to encourage that being a team.
Yeah. Definitely.
It's a good thing to have this is a win condition.
Yeah. None of the cards of those individual characters have been spoiled, so we haven't had our first glimpse of Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman, in Dice Masters yet. But
and you never will, given that.
No, exactly. Exactly. She's the being the Invisible Girl and all that. But anyway, the next thing that we were going to talk about was the fact that Jimmy said that Secret Wars is scheduled for October and might be seen at Worlds in the middle of September. Obviously, last time around, they did do a preview draft of Infinity Gauntlet. Yes, Infinity Gauntlet. Ben knows all about that. But we won't go there for the moment. But there's going to be a fan event and stuff revealed. So there could be some product. I mean, I'm not sure. Jimmy didn't sound too optimistic. Peter, what sort of vibes did you get on that?
It's not going to be a preview draft, that's for sure, because that was a lot of work from what I've heard.
Really, right?
But maybe if they have the product available, they could do.
It's not that they're going to try and ship something over, isn't it?
Yeah.
It would be cool if they did something special for Worlds. Like that, even though we won't be there.
Yeah, I would like to do nothing special.
I looked at flights and so but the thing is from London you can't even fly direct to Memphis, so you have to go like via Detroit or something like that, and it's messy, and I think one of the flights I looked at, it said something like 12 hours. I thought, well, it doesn't sound too bad with a connecting flight, but then you land at Detroit and then it says your next flight departs 51 minutes later. I'm like, could you really imagine getting through American customs and immigration, getting off the plane even, and getting to your next flight in 51 minutes. I don't think that's going to happen. Anyway, it's way too expensive. So sadly, that is out of the question, even though it's my birthday weekend in the middle of September, which is
I think that
cool.
We should, before Worlds happens, decide what teams we would have played.
Yeah.
And then play the person who wins Worlds with those teams that we said.
All of us.
Yeah.
Or maybe we have a tournament to make our own champion.
Yeah.
And then the winner of that.
Then
it's like the Super Cup in football, when
and then they have to give us all their prizes if we win.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure they'd be well up for that. When they have absolutely nothing to gain and everything to lose.
Yeah.
Yeah, they pay shipping. The other thing that Jimmy did mention, which obviously is going to impact current modern players, is that he says players should expect there's going to be a rotation that's going to affect Memphis. Those are the words. I don't think he's talking about the rotation of the globe. I think he's talking about rotation of cards that are able to use in the modern meta. What do we think is going to get cut, James?
I think you should get your coat smoked.
It's a shame you can't hear my face palm on the pod.
Oh, well, thanks.
I have no idea. I know that there were several variations suggested, one of which was the IP cull, getting rid of stuff that they've had IP disagreements about, like Warhammer. Another one was the gentle cut, which took it up to just like the oldest sets. I can't remember how far that went. And then there was a deep cut, which would leave Europe with approximately one set. So that'd be nice. Yeah. just remember, there is a rest of the world.
Yeah. Ben, what do you think?
I think they'll get rid of. I have to look at the sets in order now. Presumably, the stuff that's in Kryptonite Crisis, I was just thinking of the fact they're reprinting effectively Venerable Dreadnought. Suggests the Warhammer would be out. And if Warhammer is out, Avengers Infinity is out. And then I think those two sets they're the oldest sets, aren't they, currently?
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if those two made it.
Yeah, James, you might well be right in terms of the IP.
There's WWE though, isn't there? Is that contentious? I don't know.
That's
not that I'm aware. Yeah, but I suppose once they've produced the sets, it's more. I wonder whether the IP is more to do with that. It means they just won't produce any more future ones. But I'm not sure if it necessarily mean they'll rotate them out just because obviously the fallout with Warhammer must have happened a little while ago because that was why the Fracture of Bealtan set was cancelled, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I reckon they'll get rid of Harley Quinn, Avengers Infinity, and associated team packs, and then Warhammer.
Right.
Yeah.
So
maybe
fairly
3,
slim.
I think that would probably be it.
Yeah. So what do we lose? Poison Ivy. I suppose she's a relevant meta card, isn't she?
Yeah, she is. Supreme Intelligence, Global.
Yeah.
Which is pretty useful.
What's his face?
The Black Widow.
Kree Captain.
Kree Captain, yes.
Black Widow.
Yeah.
Atlas, but we have Wolverine now, so it's okay.
Well, we don't, but yes.
Some people have Wolverine now.
We have to see.
There's practically nothing that we'd really lose from Warhammer because there's a few bits and pieces that might have been interesting.
Excuse me, Orbital Strike.
Yeah, there's stuff like that, and there's the Fetid Bloat Drone, which sees some play, and then
the Bloat Drone is cool.
The Pox.
There's all the great names.
They are some good names.
Yeah.
Poxwalker.
Yeah, but I don't think that'd be too great a loss. Avengers Infinity,
no one's using that one anymore.
Probably similar.
Not
that many cards that would be a great loss.
No.
And then,
I mean, Nick is going to lose his Orc Boys.
Yeah, and Harley Quinn. I mean, he didn't use that in Golden anyway, so.
Yeah, fair enough.
The throne brick could be a bit of a loss from Harlequin, I suppose.
Yeah, although I guess Ramp has moved on since then, hasn't it, really, in terms of Mr. Sinister and its ilk. So, it will be interesting. I mean, when was the last time that we had rotation? It's been quite a long time, hasn't it? Because there basically hasn't been a new product for quite a long time. We've had a good couple of years without it changing. So,
nice for a little bit of a freshen up, but I don't think it'll be too drastic. I can't see them doing, because any deeper than that, then they have to go to what was after Warhammer Justice.
Yeah,
I can't see them leaving only like no DC sets.
No, I mean they got
Kryptonite Crisis is going to be in there.
Is about to land. We hear, but yeah,
it would be a shame not to have Justice to play along with
Kryptonite Crisis.
Kryptonite Crisis, right?
Yes, that's right, James. Yeah. So we will see what rotation will bring, but obviously players who are intending to go to US Nationals and Worlds at Memphis in the middle of September, sounds like they should expect to lose potentially some cards from the card pool. And the final thing that Jimmy talked about was just the fact that he said there will be some surprises in 2023. I have no idea what that means, and reckons there are breadcrumbs on WizKids social media for those who are watching closely. So, does that mean that they might be bringing some other IPs in? Star Trek, they do Star Trek, don't they, in HeroClix, for example.
We might even get some product in Europe.
Yeah. Parallel releases.
Yeah. But, I mean, is Star Trek in Dice Masters, is that even possible, do you think?
Everything is possible. They have WWE instead of Dice Masters. But I don't
include anything from Picard, I don't care.
I want Star Trek Below Decks in Dice Masters. I'd be down with that.
Yeah.
Okay. You heard it here first. That's the next set. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's been going on, a lot of stuff to digest, a lot of stuff to think about. What did you make? Did you hear the interviews? Was there anything that grabbed you that we didn't talk about? Do drop us the line and let us know your views. But we should move on to our next segment. Well, as we record, the UK Games Expo is hot from finishing, and our man Ben has been there experiencing all the fullness that the expo can offer. Ben, how was it? First and foremost, how was the event in its entirety?
Very busy.
Was it?
Very, very busy. Yeah, I think on Friday they had the same number of unique attendees as they had over the whole of the 2019 convention, which was the last full-scale one.
Good grief.
So yeah, really busy. Well, Friday was a bank holiday, so
yes, of course.
Friday and Saturday was really busy as well.
Yeah.
Sunday was a bit better, but yeah, no, very enjoyable. Always a good time at UK Games Expo. Spend lots of money, sell lots of games as well to recoup some of that money.
Did you?
I sold 42 games, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Good grief! How did you even?
There was a lot of carrying.
Drag them into the hall. This was the bring and buy, was it, or a mixture of that?
Mixture of bring and buy and then pre-arranged sales. Yeah.
Good grief.
So yeah, good stuff. And I only bought six games.
600 games.
6 games.
Yeah. Good. And you played some in-person Dice Masters.
I did finally.
What was happening? Yeah, what was happening? What was the event? What was the format?
Well, Ministry of Dice was hosting their annual thing they do at UKGE, which has sort of replaced UK Nats, I guess, unofficially. Although I don't like to think of it as UK Nats because I lost.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, so it's just a modern constructed, although Dark Phoenix was not relevant or not allowed because it wasn't fair on those people who didn't have the sets, like me mainly. Quite a few players, I think, had stuff there.
Did they?
Were there, already had stuff. Because we did a draft and then there was bits going for free at the end. Because they were like, I already have this stuff. So Picked up lots of dice for Dark Phoenix and a few common cards and stuff. So that was good. The tournament itself was a fun time. I ran like Becky Lynch. But it was an Iceman team with Becky Lynch, which was a bit convoluted, I think, and just ended up not working as well as I wanted it to.
Right.
Do you want me to do a breakdown of all the games I played? We don't need to do that, do we?
But no, you can just give us the headline overview of what happened.
Andy from the Ministry of Dice won the tournament, winning all 4 of his games. I lost to him in round 2. I shouldn't have lost to him. I don't know what happened. No, I do know what happened. I tried to rush him with Becky when I should have slow played him with Iceman.
What was he playing?
He was playing like a interesting... Well, he was playing Wasp, which gets bigger when you use a tune.
Oh, right, yeah.
And Volo, with also a tune.
Yeah.
Then was using Confront the Mighty and Thrown Brick. And then also he brought Becky Lynch against me. And actually the interesting play was I got him down to 5 life. I was still on 19 maybe.
Yeah.
He had Volo, Becky and Wasp in the field. And I had a Danny Moonstar out, so I forced all 3 to block my Danny, spending more energy than I perhaps should have.
Yeah.
And made him re-roll all those 3 characters.
Yeah.
And all of them roll back as characters, obviously.
Oh.
Becky going from level 1 to level 3.
Ouch.
He back swung me for the 19 or whatever he needed.
Oh, no.
So that was a good game, close game.
Yeah.
The first game I played Danny, which was also a fun game. He was playing like a Jubilee, 3-cost Jubilee that I like.
Oh, yeah.
So that was cool to see me. Played a very young kid called Alfie.
Yeah.
So a couple of young kids, which is nice to see. The new generation.
Great.
In playing in their first tournament. And Alfie was running like a Deadpool with Overcrush, which was very interesting.
Oh, right.
And then last game I played Rob, who was playing that Adam Warlock combo we talked about.
Oh, yes.
A few times. And I won, but by cheating.
What did you do this time?
I used Turk Barrett to ping off Poison Ivy. He was using the Poison Ivy with Deadly to KO my stuff, even though I could static field it back, because obviously Deadly triggers when a character's engaged, not necessarily after. They don't have to necessarily be in combat together. Yeah. And then, I just completely forgot the Poison Ivy couldn't be damaged by non-villains.
Oh, yeah.
So the Turk Barrett pings don't work anyway.
Because he might be a dodgy geezer, but he's not a flat-out villain, is he, old Turk?
They were tactical. That was a very tactical game because he was basically trying to stop me doing everything to win. Yeah. But couldn't quite get his win condition in place. Yeah. And I couldn't get my Icemans out. Yeah, so it was an interesting game. Went to turn. That was a good battle.
So it sounds like there's some really interesting mixture of teams. People didn't go
only
for
one person
flat
ran
out.
Godcatcher, yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
And then even the Becky, that I ran Becky but didn't really buy it. Yeah. And the time I did, it was a mistake to buy. And then, so I think it was a mixture of kind of like light-hearted. People don't want to run the Godcatcher Becky. It's boring, isn't it? And the prizes were good, but it was sort of just nice to be back playing again rather than trying to smash everyone's face, I think.
With some old faces from the community, it's good stuff. And they had a Hellfire Gala OP kit, didn't they, to choose from in terms of prizing as one of the things?
They did. Oh yeah. So obviously Andy took the 2 Hellfires.
Drat.
I came third and ended up with the Super Rare Kitty, which is good. And the Explosion Altar.
Explosion.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. It was cool to see those cards in person. The Hellfire Galas look really nice close up, way better than they do in print online. So it was cool. And then we obviously did a Dark Phoenix draft.
How was that?
Interesting. Emma Frost is very strong, the common one that pumps sidekicks.
Oh yeah,
very strong.
Nice.
And there's a few bits. The Powerbolt obviously is a very good card in draft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The basic action. Yeah.
Yeah. And I used in my team I had the uncommon Deadpool, which when attacks deals 1 damage, which was kind of nice.
Cheesy. That's the sort of thing that you would say, oh, I hate that card when you play against.
Yeah, it was really annoying. But I played against, so in my last game I played against Seth, you know who Seth is.
Yeah.
And he was like, I have Powerbolt, but let's just agree not to buy it. So I said, okay. And then I just cheesied the biggest way possible.
Very good.
So yeah.
Excellent. Well, I'm very jealous that you got to play an in-person tournament. It's been such a long time since I have had the opportunity to do that. So let's hope that we can all be doing much more of that pretty soon. But yeah, thank you, Ben. Sounds like it was a good event and a good time was had by all. So thanks to the guys.
Yeah, just one last thing. It's very nice to see even people who weren't playing, who previously played Dice Masters, came over.
Oh yeah.
And said hello and just to check out, it just shows that it's a very good community.
Yeah.
Over here in the UK. Yeah.
Fantastic.
It was interesting as well because the people who were sitting on the table next to us, as we were playing, obviously came back and they had bought their own Dice Master set.
Oh, brilliant.
So I was obviously encouraged those people to be like, oh, they're having a good time. So yeah.
That's great. So you were a good kind of outreach.
I mean, not me personally. I was mopey. But everyone else,
miserable.
Yeah. I lost my second game. I was in a bad mood. Yeah.
You knew the game was up as early as the second game. Oh, good. Oh, well, that's great to hear. Thank you for the update. Well, shall we wrap things up with a bit of AOB? Okay, I don't think we've actually got much AOB, have we, this time around? James, you're normally very good at this kind of stuff. Have we got anything other than Dice Fight to mention in AOB?
No, I don't think so.
No,
I've been doing nothing because I've been full of exams.
Oh, it's not what you want, is it? Do we know what's coming up on the Dice Fight slate over the next?
According to the calendar, June the 16th. That would be the next one, right? It says no keywords. With a silver card pool, which is the shinies in it. It's not strictly silver, so I guess it's up to the end of. No, from the start of when the shiny started. Is that Green Arrow Flash?
Yeah, Green Arrow. Yeah.
Okay. So that's the card pool, and it's a green event, and the following one is also a green event. It seems. That on June the 23rd, couples, which I think. Basically, your team has to be composed, if this is what I think it is, of couples. Surprisingly enough,
so really drawing on your comic lore.
I don't know, Jean Grey and flipping Colossus. Not Colossus. What's it all?
No,
Cyclops.
not
Cyclops.
Kitty Pryde.
Not yet.
Colossus.
Or Kitty Pryde and Colossus. Sorry. Yeah, that sort of thing. Or
Jean Grey and Wolverine or Cyclops.
Yes. So romantic couples, I think, is the point. And that's golden and also green. So there you go.
No, that sounds like fun. So that's 9 p.m. UK time, 10 p.m. Central European time on Thursday night. All you need is a webcam and a link to the Discord server, which we can put in the show notes. Other than that, I think that is going to be all that we've got time for. It's been really good to have you with us. If you want to get in touch and drop us a line on any of the subjects that we've spoken about in this particular episode, you can email us by directing it to James.
hello@dmunited.eu.
Indeed you can. And don't forget to like, rate, review, and leave us subscribe using your favorite podcast app so you can be the first to know about a new episode when it drops. We will see you next time. Goodbye.
Have you had your tea?
Bye.
Bye-bye.